leaders, a very warm welcome to Earth Hour 2022. It's fantastic for Climate Reality Project India and Young Environmentalist Program Trust hosting this for 2022, celebrating Earth Hour. As we all know, it is a symbolic lights-off event held globally, right from Gateway of India to Sydney Harbour to the Paris Tower, Eiffel Tower, to the White House, everywhere around the world, people will be switching off. So our message here today for this webinar is solution-based climate action, or call out by our young leaders here presenting today who will commit to measurable impact goals. And that's how Climate Reality Project India will be celebrating Earth Hour. So without much further ado, I'd like to welcome for the opening note, Mr. Bhavesh Swami. Thank you so much, Bhavesh. Without you, this would not be possible. Thank you for all your coordination, technical support, and for always being there. A few lines from Bhavesh, please.
Thank you, Elsie. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Indeed, as they say, children are future of our generation and youngsters are the present one. We ought to see as to how positive changes are being brought by the younger generation for us. Time is less. Everybody is on the clock beginning to take countdown now. Climate emergency is happening now. Good part is if youth come forward, we have a ray of hope. If you people are motivated enough, we see the ray of hope, the light for future in your hands. Unfortunately, elders have somewhere down the line not living up to the mark. It's you, the youngster, that are going to show the path. Earth Hour for you, for us, ought to be celebrated every day. We welcome you. We ask you to share your learnings. We ask you to share what you are doing so as to motivate many others in times to come. All the very best for the endeavors that you are taking. Thank you, Elsie. Thank you for all the people behind this initiative to make it a success. Back to you, Elsie. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhavesh. Before we go further, just a few housekeeping rules, please. All questions will be taken at the end of the program, and you can post them in your chat box. And also Swayam will be handling that. And we thank Fozia and Swayam also for joining me to host this. And also, in case there are technical glitches, we will move on to the next speaker. And we will take a group photograph before the lights off and one after the lights off. If the lights go off at 8:30, I request you to switch off at 8:30 after the countdown. But please stay on and the webinar will continue. You can use a solar lantern or a diya, and the last resort is a candlelight, but you can switch off because the whole world will be switching off at 8:30 wherever they are. So without much further ado, having given out those outlines for today's proceedings, I warmly welcome Mr. Aditya Pundir, our mentor, our chief of Climate Reality Project India and Asia. He walks the talk and he guides all the Climate Reality Project leaders here in India and Asia, under whom we are compelled and inspired to move forward, taking each step strongly under his direction and guidance. So thank you, Aditya. We warmly welcome you to Earth Hour 2022. Over to you, Aditya.
Thank you, Elsie. Thank you so much. And it's such a pleasure to be here today with everyone, and especially with such young speakers. Yeah, I think I should do less talking and more listening. So with that agenda, I think Earth Hour 2007, when it started, I remember it was focused on climate change, that climate change is coming. So the world awareness has to be increased. And so this beautiful project was started way back in Sydney. They started it and by switching off lights. And here, now we are in 2022, things really haven't improved. The climate change is getting worse. And if you, everybody, all you young people, if you have Googled or if you have seen that report which came out on February 28th of IPCC, that is it's a warning. It's a huge warning that It's telling us that only 10 years are left. So probably we can do something about it. Otherwise, the window is closing very fast on climate. So with that in background, I think 2022 becomes very significant for us, that we have to really think now how we move forward. And another thing which is we have to now focus on is our natural systems. You see the way the corals are going, the way our mangroves are going, the way our biodiversity loss we are having. So it's as good as climate change. It's literally a situation is very dire out there. And so we have to really find out now solutions, that how we can combine, how we can recover our biodiversity, how we can help nature-based solutions to form a solution for climate change. Now, many of my young friends here today, I think there are lots of young people who are listening, who are part of this webinar today. Well, how does a young person contribute? Well, I agree. Probably you may not be there in the coral reef. You might not be going to the mangroves, but initially we used to vote every 5 years, but now you guys are voting every day, because some news comes which is positive, that something wrong happened somebody cut so many mangroves, or somebody destroyed so many coral reefs, and you can just go to your phone and that message on Twitter, whether Insta, it gets amplified with a negative, where you are talking about it, that it's not done. Everybody's listening. The people at the top are listening. They're looking at these reactions. When they see 1 million dislikes coming to an action, or 1 million likes coming for an action, which they did, they really know what's happening, and that's what people are talking about. So this is one very powerful thing which young people can do. And you people are very good at social media. I think I can't teach you anything about it. We keep learning all the time from you people. So, so this is a very powerful tool you have. And wherever you are lucky enough to really contribute physically, go ahead, do it. It's wonderful. Okay, that's something probably on you can say on an institutional scale, but let's talk about what young people can do on a personal scale. So I'll keep it very brief, because I think the platform should be taken by the young people today. So my brief 3 things I would suggest is that the first thing we should do is, as I said, plant trees. The biodiversity, the only way is plant trees. And I'll tell you why. The new IPCC report says, it's the dire warning from all the scientists of the world, is they say that the world is going to live in cities, and cities are going to have a heat island effect, where the temperature, like I'm quite sure people who stay in cities like Pune, Delhi, Mumbai, and all these metros, you can see the temperatures 2-3 degrees higher inside the city. And when you go outside the city, it suddenly gets very cold. So the temperature, you can see the drop, especially if you are on a bike, you can see the drop of temperature. So that heat island effect you can cancel by putting in lots of trees in the city. You can have lots of your local forests you can generate. And please be sure to put local trees, so that you'll have a lot of birds coming there, insects, wildlife, corridors. So you improve so many things by planting trees. And one more thing I would like to say is that do plant a tree. It's not donating for a tree, donating such projects. Well, that's the second best thing. The first best thing would be go do it yourself. And I'm quite sure you will fall in love once you start planting trees. And you see those trees grow after 1 year or 2 years, you will fall in love. You'll say, wow, this is the tree I planted, And so you'll feel that positive stroke every time you cross that tree. So do go ahead, plant some trees. I think that is the first big action you can take. The second thing I would say is that probably look at your plate. Look at what you're eating. Look at how much is going into the bin, how much is going into your stomach. That's crucial. Because, you might just say that, oh, well, I only wasted half my pizza. What happens? It's my money at the end of the day. But, for that half pizza or half burger, which we threw down the bin, first of all, that's food. And secondly, to grow that amount of water, which is required, the amount of the emissions which happen when we are growing corn, when you're growing wheat, when you're growing rice, fruits, they are getting transported from far off places. They come to our places, and then I eat half an apple and then throw it. Well, that's bad. That's you are putting in emissions, and there are more than 800 million people hungry out there. So wastage, as I think that's absolutely absolute no should be with young people. They should say no wastage. If you have eaten half your pizza, keep the other half in the fridge for tomorrow. So yes, save the food. That is absolutely important. And in case, there is some food which will get wasted, because then go in for composting if possible, because composting is again a good way of recovering at least some value out of that food. The third thing I'll talk about is, energy. We are in Earth Hour. We are talking about saving energy. We are talking about switching off lights. Yes, switch off those lights which you don't use. I'm not saying you start living in darkness, go back into your caves. No, that's not the issue. The issue is, first of all, only use those lights which are important for you. Like if I'm in a house with 5 rooms and I'm sitting in one room, then that light should be on. Why should all 4 rooms should be lit? Second thing probably you can go for is go in for for efficient lights like LEDs, go in for 5-star appliances. If you are changing your air conditioner, go in for a 5-star air conditioner. Any appliance you are replacing, ask this question to the dealer that what is the efficiency of this? Is it the best, most efficient? And you're Googlers. So just check it on the showroom itself. What is the efficiency level of this device I'm buying? So energy is crucial for moving forward. Until the time we have totally renewable energy, we are getting all our energy from coal, and especially people who are in India, we know we get 60% of energy is coming from coal. So all that you save. And one interesting culprit I'll tell you, which all of us have when we want to save electricity, is that very innocuous looking our phone charger, our mobile phone charger. That's a transformer. And when we put it on in the electric supply and we let it be there on the whole time, it's fine. I'm not putting on my phone for charging, but it's there and it's consuming electricity. And when you save one electricity at home, you see two units at the plant. So that kind of electricity saving is possible. So I think energy, yes, energy should be crucial. Try to save electricity, try to be more efficient, and try to think through the process that how probably I can save, how we can contribute. So these things I will just stop here because, the Eartha or all these events, there are so many things we can do. But the most important thing I'll end by saying is that it is when you start thinking critically, start listening to what people are saying. I'm not telling you to fight with people, but in case if people are saying wrong things, you should give an argument. You should be able to give a positive argument with proper stats, with proper information that this is the right way to do things. I'm telling you, people will not say yes to you initially. They might laugh at you also. The friends may laugh at you that here comes the environmentalist. But slowly everybody's thinking at the back of the mind. After all, it's the future of your younger generation. Like guys are not going to be there for a very long time. So it's the young people who are going to face things. And believe me, by 2050, when you probably guys are in my age, it will going to be a very different world we'll look at. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, Elsie. Thank you so much for inviting me over.
Thank you, Aditya, so much. As you rightly said, it is just not our ecological footprints and carbon footprints, are also our water footprints. So, dear participants and all our young panelists, you have it outlined by our chief, Mr. Aditya Pundir, who we are really indebted to. I'll be a moderator today for the 4 panelists who will be expounding on their climate action plan as youth leaders. And before I go ahead, I'd like you to say that you can always reach out to Climate Reality Project on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. And please tag them and show your project report outline. And at the end of this webinar, what you have, you can show that as a project, report. And Young Environmentalist Program Trust and Climate Reality Project will always be there to mentor you and to help to take you forward. So I am the National Coordinator for Oceans Climate Reality Project, and we have been working on beach cleanups. And in Lakshadweep and in Andamans, we started our research. And I am doing an ocean literacy book with authors from all over the world, almost being completed. And we also have ocean research team of young people and adults almost ready for October, because it's the summer and the exams and the monsoons coming in. So these 2 things are on way for the ocean group. So I request all of you to please join our various groups of Climate Reality Project. And also, since I belong to the ocean group, you can join the ocean group as well on Facebook. And all the groups are there on Facebook as well. Join them, and you can always write in to Climate Reality Project India and Young Environmentalists, and we'll get you mentors and join the forces and take that forward. So without much further ado, like we said, the panelists and all the participants requested, since Aditya's here, Aviva, are you ready to take it on your laptop, a group photograph before we start? Yes. So everybody, a best smile on, please. And she will, on a count, please go ahead and video count. for the photograph.
All right, everyone. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So we shall go ahead. We do have our expert panelists from the young adults community today. We need to put our youngsters as policy makers. We need to put them, catapult them at the forefront of this brigade, this Green Army, and we need to, enhance their capacity. Capacity building is very important, and it is on us adults to empower them, to take them forward. So we have outlined today Urvi Banerjee from Ryan International. She will be speaking on the first deliberation. We have Aviva Munshi, also from Vellore Technical Institute, absolutely an expertise on geospatial. She will outline, brilliant. We have Debarata Rajkumar from Assam, from Nature's Orbit, also working with the indigenous and tribal people in the remotest of the villages, the poorest of the poor in Assam. And then we also have Shivam Singh, a dynamic youth leader of Climate Neutrality Project, and also heading various projects and leading on Explore It, his organization with sustainable development and taking adventure tourism forward. So these are our panelists outlined for this evening. Without much further ado, I'd like to invite our very first speaker, Urvi Banerjee.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Urvi Banerjee from Ryan International School, and I'll be talking about climate change and oceans. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So, life began in the oceans, and oceans regulate our planetary health. Over the years, the oceans have been exploited for its resources like fish, oil and gas, minerals, and as shipping routes for tourism and recreation purposes, bioprospecting, and also for deep sea mining. Some reminders for the exploitations are the cod fishery collapse, which happened between 1962 and 1977, the Exxon Valdez shipping accident, which happened on 24th March, the recent trawler accident that happened on 4th February 2022. These are all very rude reminders of how humans have been exploiting the oceans. Oceans as carbon sinks. Oceans are the largest carbon sinks. They are a vital part of the ecosystem and are under threat from the climate change. The oceans and the life that they support are being affected by rising sea surface water temperature, ocean acidification, retreating sea ice, sea level rise, flooding, and coastal erosion. As greenhouse gases trap more energy from the sun, the oceans are absorbing more heat, resulting in an increase in sea surface temperatures and rising sea level. Changes in ocean temperatures and currents brought about by climate change are leading to alterations in climate patterns around the world. Increased ocean acidity makes it more difficult for certain organisms, such as corals and shellfish, to build their skeletons and shells, which are made of calcium carbonate. These effects, in turn, could substantially alter the biodiversity and productivity of the ocean ecosystems. Now, let's talk about the impact of climate change on marine ecosystems and species. Degradation of coastal and marine ecosystems threatens the physical, economic, and food security of local communities, as well as the resources for global businesses. In marine ecosystems, rising atmospheric carbon dioxide and climate change are associated with coinciding shifts in temperature, circulation, stratification, nutrient input, oxygen content, ocean acidification, and eutrophication, with potentially wide-ranging biological effects. The sustainable management, conservation, and restoration of coastal and marine ecosystems are vital to support the continued provision of ecosystem services on which people depend. A low carbon emissions trajectory is indispensable to preserve the health of the ocean. Now, what is the cost of climate change? The Energy and Climate Intelligence Unit states that the cost of dealing with the impacts of climate change fall disproportionately on developing countries, while the financial costs of cutting emissions to mitigate those impacts fall mostly to the developed nations. Morgan Stanley estimates that climate-related disasters cost the world around $650 billion from 2016 to 2018. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development put the cost of achieving the UN's SDGs in a way compatible with Paris at $6.9 trillion a year to 2030. The World Bank estimate suggests that the necessary global infrastructure investment will cost up to $90 trillion till 2030. Leading to COP26, and even at this meeting, the discussion on finance for loss and damages was a critical issue pushed by the developing nations and to establish a Glasgow loss and damage facility. However, it met with strong resistance from developed countries, and the discussions have now been deferred to COP27. The call to set up the Glasgow Loss and Damage Facility was supported by 5 philanthropies, which together committed $3 million. To such a facility, if established, the government of Wallonia, Belgium, committed €1 million. Over 300 civil society organizations called for COP26 to provide finance for loss and damages, in addition to the $100 billion annually committed but not yet delivered by developed countries to developing countries to support adaptation and mitigation. All the action taken now will help us achieve the goal and targets set under SDG 14, Life Underwater, which also happens to be the least financed of all the 17 SDGs. If we do not accelerate our actions now towards climate change, adaptations, and mitigations, then the impact of increasing ocean temperature and sea level rise on island nations and oceanic islands closer to home, the Maldives, will be radically visible. Now, what happens if we do not act? Rising sea levels could impact 1 billion people by the year 2050. Plants and animals at risk of losing more than half of their habitats. Changes in water temperature causes algae to leave coral reefs, turning them white and making them vulnerable to diseases and death, a phenomena also known as coral bleaching. Arctic sea ice recedes every summer, but still covers millions of square miles of ocean today. But the Arctic is warming faster than anywhere on Earth, and ice-free summers could become a reality. Antarctic ice shelf breaking. It will lead to 3 meters increase in seawater level. Heat waves will become more frequent and severe around the world, affecting hundreds of millions of people. Increase in flood risk and inundation of low-lying coastal areas, displacing millions and leading to climate-led migration or climate refugees. Now, what happens if we do act? Fast action, quick results. Due to the short lifetime of climate pollutant emissions in the atmosphere, ranging from a few days to a few decades, reducing short-lived climate pollutants can rapidly slow the rate of global temperature rise, complement efforts to mitigate carbon dioxide emissions and keep warming below 2 degrees Celsius. Prevent global warming. Widespread actions to reduce short-lived climate pollutants can prevent 0.6 degrees Celsius of warming by 2050. Cutting emissions of carbon dioxide and short-lived climate pollutants is critical to slow the rate of global warming and achieve the 2 degrees Celsius target set by the Paris Agreement. Health benefits. A warmer climate increases public health challenges like heat-aggravated illnesses, increases in vector-borne diseases, and decreased access to safe water and food. Cutting short-lived climate pollutants can slow the rate of warming and lower public health risks. Food security benefits. Rising temperatures threaten food security. Increases in pests and diseases and more frequent and intense droughts and floods reduce the availability of food. Heat stress causes poor yields or worse crop failures. Economic benefits. The impacts of short-lived climate pollutants on public health, ecosystems, and agricultural productivity have economic consequences. Reducing short-lived climate pollutants can have immediate economic benefits from job creation and increased household income. Now, what can we do? We can create awareness on coastal and marine biodiversities, and for protection of ecologically sensitive ecosystems like the mangroves, the coral reefs, seagrass beds, seaweeds, and marine species like marine turtles, whales, polar bears, penguins, and marine fisheries. Now we can create marine protected areas, which will be protecting ecologically and biologically significant marine habitats, including regulating human activities to prevent environmental degradation. At the IUCN World Conservation Congress 2016, IUCN members approved a resolution calling for the protection of 30% of the planet's ocean by 2030. Support for scientific research, ensuring continued monitoring and analysis of the impacts of climate change with the knowledge gained to design and implement adequate and appropriate mitigation and adaptation strategies. Globally ambitious efforts are also needed to reduce the use of fossil fuels, increase the use of renewable energy systems, and enhance energy efficiency. This will reduce the impacts of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases on the ocean. The nationally determined commitments intend to address these aspects. Every action of ours at this moment matters because the earth matters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Urvi. That was fabulous. And can you please outline your call of action?
Yes, so we will be working towards creating awareness about ocean literacy, and we will be talking about the role of oceans, and we will be talking about the need to protect and conserve our ocean resources, and we will be addressing pollution as well. And we will also be conducting lots of activities like organizing beach cleaning, and we will be organizing webinars, activities on World Oceans Day, like it's on 8th June. So we'll be having webinars, seminars, and we will also be exploring the possibility of organizing snorkeling and scuba diving certification.
Thank you so much, Urvi. When Urvi called and said she's going to join our climate reality project, Oceans Group, and I knew she was, waiting to be trained, and so much enthusiasm, and she's waiting to scuba dive, and therefore we are going to take a whole team in October, and she's going to lead the youth wing. So she has so much potential. She's absolutely brilliant. So we are going to be mentoring her and taking her forward. Fantastic delivery there, Urvi. We'll have questions for her at the end of the session. Without much further ado, keeping the time track online, we'd like to invite our next speaker, Aviva Munshi.
Hi, good evening,
Aviva?
everyone. Yes.
Yes.
Good evening. Today, I'm going to be talking about climate change and technology. Sorry about that. I seem to be having a... Is my screen visible?
Yes, now it is.
All right. Sorry about that delay, folks. All right. My topic is climate change and technology. We've always heard about the dark side of technology, right? How all of these innovations propel mankind forward, but at the cost of the Earth's resources. The first out of a long list of possible depleters are emissions. So the carbon impact of the digital technology sector is considerably more than what most people appreciate. It's been estimated, for example, that the information technology sector itself emits just about 2% of global CO2 emissions in terms of its level of impact. It's actually giving competition to the airline industry emissions, which is also a giant when it comes to this topic. Be it cars, airplanes, or just the technology used in manufacturing them, they are affecting the environment adversely. I would also like to point out that it's now 8 p.m. We are officially half an hour away from our Earth hour. Next up, we have digital. Most digital technologies rely on rare minerals that are becoming increasingly scarce. So many people are unaware, for example, that a mobile phone that you have in your hand can actually contain more than a third of the elements in the periodic table. Thirdly, we have e-waste. The net effect is that despite efforts to recycle digital technology, e-waste remains a fundamental problem for the sector. Much of this e-waste actually contains concentrated amounts of potentially harmful products, and this shows very little sign of abating. I'll give you a statistic. In 2020, for example, 41.8 million tons of discarded electrical and electronic waste was produced. Lastly, like our respected keynote speaker also mentioned, we have electricity and energy. Digital technology, almost by definition, must have electricity to function. And as industry and society become increasingly dependent on electricity for production, exchange, and consumption, the demand for electricity continues to rise. Moreover, most electricity production globally is currently generated by coal-powered power stations, which has actually led claims to the fact that the internet is the largest coal-fired machine on the planet. Reducing the energy and environmental footprint of digital technology requires returning to the individual and collective capacity to question the social and economic usefulness of our behaviors linked to purchasing and consuming digital objects. While digital technologies can have a negative impact on the environment, as I've discussed, they can also contribute to solutions for more sustainable environmental management. The recent advances in technology offer groundbreaking opportunities to monitor and to protect the environment. And I'm here to give everyone insight on what these can be. So before you are 4 broad examples of technology being used for environmental good. You'll notice that these examples actually are multiple because they range from apps to prevent food waste to blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. We also have the application of artificial intelligence and machine learning, which I specialize in, to a wide range of sustainability problems. At the most basic level, digital technologies also enable people to connect, communicate, and collaborate in ways that were never possible before. Machine learning for soil health. Coming from an agrarian family myself, I am no stranger to how important soil health is for optimum crop yield. The health of agricultural fields is primarily concerned with the preservation of soil nutrients, such as chemical and physical properties. And through effective channelization, we can actually optimize these supplements. When soil health is controlled properly, it gradually aids in very high yield production and the long life of cultivating land. To categorize soil as healthy and unhealthy, machine learning classification techniques like decision trees, random forest algorithm, also logistic regression are used. And I know that everyone must think that these are big words, right? They're so technical. And that's why I'm here to shed light on these. The classification method is a supervised learning approach that uses training data to identify the category of fresh observations. A program in classification learns from a given data set or observations and then classifies additional observations into one of many classes or groups. Next up is remote sensing. This is a personal favorite. The collection of data about a phenomena and an area without actually directly touching it is referred to as remote sensing. I've myself dealt with data collected by satellites, aircraft, sometimes even drones. And this actually allows us to monitor the Earth's surface, the ocean, and the atmosphere at several spatiotemporal scales. And this allows us to observe climate systems and examine climate-related processes or long and short-term occurrences. Just off the top of my head, we have deforestation, the El Niño effect. Remote sensing techniques, specifically satellite images, have already been used very successfully all over the world in a variety of climate change fields, including investigating global temperature trends, both at the ocean surface and in the atmosphere, detecting changes in solar radiation affecting global warming and the ozone layer, and of course, changes in the precipitation system. Now I'll be talking about glacier domain mapping. Glaciers are distinguished by the variety of snow and ice deposited in accumulation and ablation zones. These zones are virtually inaccessible to machines and men alike, which is why a new branch of machine learning comes into being. That's image processing. Satellite image processing, more specifically, provides materials on glaciers based on their spectral refraction. So even spectrally identical materials can have distinct thermal characteristics that can only be distinguished by employing appropriate digital image processing techniques. So while most glacier models contain more and more physical processes, I have also seen an alternate method based on data science by developing a parametrized model. The findings in this case actually support the application of deep learning in glacier modeling as a strong nonlinear tool capable of capturing the nonlinearities of climate and glacier systems. And this actually may even be used to reconstruct and recreate time series of individual glaciers, because if you can move forward, why can't you also move backward? Of course, for any strategy to be effective, we must have a timeline. This presentation is generally dealt with what we can do at an individual level, but this is something more large scale. Number one, I'd like to talk about globalization. I think it's very hard to believe that there are people all over the world that don't have the same aim as we do. I know personally myself, like through the help of social media, that people are imbibing technology and climate change research every single day. And communication channels like technical and scientific workshops where hordes of like-minded people unite to discuss exactly this is a very, very useful tool. Secondly, I'd like to talk about infrastructure. In order to develop any good technology, we must have corresponding infrastructure that supports it, which is why we need to make an infrastructure plan that could support these advanced technologies. And lastly, education. I stand before you here today giving this insanely informed presentation because of my privilege, because of my education that has led me to this point in my life. However, there are people in India and all around the world that do not have these amenities. And it's important for us to make sure that everyone around the world has the access to the same resources that we do. That's all I have today. Thank you so much for listening.
Absolutely brilliant presentation there, with so much clarity and focus, and outlining at various stratas of understanding. Very well presented. I'm absolutely indebted to Aviva. She makes an excellent youth leader, taking us forward. And for today's program, she's been responsible for outlining and designing the poster for Earth 2022 for Climate Reality and Young Environmentalists. My gratitude to her, and also in organizing this. So a brilliant leader, thank you so much. And may I request Aviva to please outline, and in gratitude to everyone who's helped support this program, can you please give a vote of thanks to our, all the logos and all the people supporting this program. Please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you everyone for being here. In this vote of thanks, I'd like to thank a number of wonderful organizations that have the same cause as we do. Perfect Women, the Young Environmentalist Program Trust, Vellore Institute of Technology, Explore IT, Nature's Orbit, Terry Advanced School of Studies, Symbiosis International, the Bombay State Fisheries, Force School of Management, Rail Bikash Manch, CSC, Recycle Foundation, Anarjari, and ultimately the Climate Reality Project of India. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. And if you missed out any, please add them on later on at the end of the vote of thanks. I think we have Nature's Orbit and Climate Reality Project India to be added there. Thank you for your involvement and sharing today's program. That was brilliant, Aviva. Okay, without much further ado, we'd like to call upon our Northeastern Indigenous, one of the leading personalities in Assam, Mr. Devarata Rajkumar, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me this platform. I would love to share about some of our projects which we are doing here in Northeast. So this is like empowering rural and indigenous communities through sustainable development. I'm just sharing the slides with you all. Just give me a moment. So here we are going to talk about like a rural community in Arunachal Pradesh, Siluk, which was once our dirtiest village 2 years back, and now it's one of the cleanest village or zero waste village, certified by Arunachal government, and many more. So what I want to share is like, if a real community can transform themselves into a zero waste or cleanest village, why can't we educated people? So climate change is really real. So we all have to act now. So just an introduction, like for centuries, these indigenous people are the custodian of the planet Earth. They always live in harmony with nature. They also they are the one who protects our forest, the biodiversity. They are also mastered in the art of living without destroying the nature environment. So last year, IPCC has declared a code red for humanity. Recently, we had an event called Regenerative Restoring Planet, where we had 2 panel discussions. We discussed about code red for humanity. The climate is rising at a very speed. So we have to act, and our action is very important here. Who we are focusing to create a circular economy, to reduce our carbon footprint by empowering communities and lifting standards through zero waste permaculture, restoring below water and on land in Northeast India. Some facts, like Northeast region is alone responsible for 60% of national tree cover loss in last decade. Also, the temperature is estimated at 2.9 degrees Celsius by end of this decade. Here, the temperature is already 1.3 degrees Celsius, which is warmer than the average global temperature. So when we talk about Siluk Model Village, we talk about sustainable livelihood for indigenous communities of the village. We have adopted this village, and now we're working with the women there. We'll work with the women health and empowerment. For the youth, we have some skill development programs and capacity building programs addressing climate crisis. We have a short video which we have documented, which we are going to publish next month. But as of now, we have a teaser for the same.
Dadie takambo delongem dagyon toy irga pe dagyon
Actually, they are the one who really lives a sustainable life. We should learn from them. We are running after like fast development, which is why we are not achieving our sustainable development goals. So area of focus here, we have done a research, like we need to focus on livelihood, education, infrastructure, and health. So basically now we are focusing on livelihood and education. So we have a collaboration with Northeast Handloom and Development Corporation, and we are coming up with some skill development programs. They are like in terms of handicraft, handloom. We have experts who will give a training on permaculture, responsible tourism. Also, like we are planning to develop entrepreneur mindset through training by professional experts and circular economy. Impact, yeah, of course, we are creating an impact there. We will have an impact of 147 households there. Approximately 300 women will have equal opportunities. And we are providing skill development and capacity building to 660 youth there in Siluk. SDGs, yeah, we are always creating awareness on climate action. With climate action, we try to educate people with solutions, which is SDG 4, and make people conscious about their consumption. Because the problem is fast consumption, and we make people responsible about their consumption. So responsible consumption and production. It's 12. Once we achieve these 3 SDGs, rest are a part of it. Like there won't be any poverty, there will be zero hunger. Also, good health and well-being, clean water, all are aligned with it. So we want to collaborate with more and more organizations, NGOs, government to give us support and make people more sustainable. So what is our plan of action? We have already adopted this village and we have promised to convert it into a self-sustained village in the next 18 months. Our NGO, Real Welfare Society, we have a English medium school in Nagaon, Assam. We have given them a free education for underprivileged students. Approximately, we have 120 students there. By May 2022, we have got a project to uplift a tea community in Golaghat by creating awareness, skill development, and capacity building. So outcome will be like, we want to combat climate crisis by empowering rural and indigenous communities through sustainable development and continue working on making SDGs attainable by 2030. Our tagline is, alone we make a difference, together we create an impact. So last year we created an event. I just want to show you a glimpse of it. So I really thank Climate Realty Project and LC ma'am for supporting me, mentoring me throughout my journey. So one request I have, there are many organizations who is working in Northeast India, but there are very few who are working on climate action. So we need more collaboration, support to act, because Northeast is a biodiversity hotspot and it will collapse soon if we don't act now. This Art Hour, we would love to pledge to reduce our consumption, not only in terms of energy, but also in our daily lifestyle. Climate change is real and it's time for action. We need a sustainable world for our future generation, and it's we who have to take responsibility. This Art Hour Day, let's shape our future, raise awareness about damages to climate that are impacting our world today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Debarata. That was absolutely fantastic, very pragmatic. Climate solutions and mitigation outlined there. That's the call of action for Earth Hour 2022. And you were on spot, outlined your solution and mitigation goals. Absolutely. It was wonderful being in Assam, invited by you, and being a voice for the voiceless, that is in the indigenous and the lowest of the stratas, the poorest of the poor that Debarata is working on in Arunachal and in Assam. Hats off to you, more power to you, and may you continue to work in this field of mitigation of climate change in various sectors that you have outlined in the solutions with your timeline. That is fabulous. Thank you so much, Debarata. Without much further ado, we'd like to call upon Shivam Singh. He's from Pune. Explore it.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. And
he's one of the youth ambassadors, youth national coordinators for Climate Reality Project, and absolutely seen him over the years take over, and absolutely excellent batting there. Over to you, Shiva.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Hello, everyone. Amazing presentations. I mean, unfortunately, I don't have anything in the presentation, but I just like to share my experience, and also an invitation to everyone out there. I can see a lot of our students are here. So, I mean, I started my journey in this domain in 2015 when I attended like the climate reality training. It has been an amazing journey from, being a trainee. Then in 2020, I was a mentor of of the global training. And in the last training, I was like one of the speaker at the session. So it was all possible because of, amazing guidance and support from the Climate Neutrality Project India, Aditya sir, Bhavesh, Sheetal, and all the, seniors out here, Fauzia ma'am, LC ma'am, Neeta ma'am, everyone. So make a note that be receptive. That's the first thing that I always suggest when you are, when you are starting, try to absorb as much knowledge as you can. That's the first thing. Second is, I have a startup called Explore It, where we try to create one common platform for all the stakeholders, because I identified that, there is a huge gap between we always try to focus on the concept of inclusive and integrated. So if you don't have that, everyone is working their own silos. Government is trying and putting their efforts, non-government organizations are working, institutions are working, corporates are doing a lot of work. But at the end of the day, is it translating into the impact? Yes, it is, but is it of the same level of, we are all facing the challenge of climate change. So, are we able to cope up with that level of climate change with the kind of impact that we're creating? So for that, we find out, that still, there is an immediate need for, an integrated platform. So then we started Explore It, and eventually over the years, we have been working in the field of sustainability. And right now we are like the official sustainability partner for Symbiosis International University, and working with other institutes out here in Pune. And we also work with Maji Vasundhara campaign of Maharashtra government. And we are also, execution partner of a lot of organizations. So the ultimate objective of, working with these organizations is to make sure that students are getting the platform and the opportunity to, to come forward and contribute. I always tell, it's like a generation before me, my father's generation, my grandfather's generation. That generation did something wrong. And here, we are demanding a bright future. We are also requesting our seniors to guide us and give us more authority so that they can trust us, they can guide us, and we can build, rethink, research, and restore. So I'm a big supporter of, increasing the youth participation. There should be more dialogue. And one important thing which I would like to put on the, in the discussion is, enterprising solution. If we are able to create something where there is an in sync between the career aspiration and sustainable solutions. So whether you talk about solar, whether you talk about EV mobility, whether you talk about anything that is converting climate crisis into an opportunity, it should be, it is a responsibility of the government, it is a responsibility of the seniors, domain experts, everyone to, convince the youngsters that these solutions are not going, these are not the solution, but these are also, a prospective career for them. And that's it. And we have plans for, in the upcoming, on the upcoming Earth Day, we are hosting one international youth and sustainability festival over here, which is like a mix of a research conference and things that interest youth. So I think what Rajkumar already showcased, there was a glimpse, there's a video. So something on a similar track, but here we are also integrating EV mobility. We are doing an EV expo with the municipal corporation and the Maharashtra government. Pune being now taking the lead in the EV mobility. So I would extend my invitation to everyone out there. We'll be floating out the information about the event. It's going to be a 2-day event, offline event, because I'm pretty sure that all of us are like done with the online sessions. So we really want people to, bring together, network, have a, just see in like a physical world. So yeah, that's it. And if anyone is looking to, volunteer on ground in the city of Pune, please let us know. And we would definitely would like to, take you in our next. And in fact, we were there at Sinhagad Fort today, and we collected 60 bags of, trash in our plogathon that we did with Aadhar Poonawalla Clean City Initiative. That's a regular thing that we do. And in upcoming weekends also, if you're free, feel free to join our initiatives. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Elsie ma'am, for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Shivam. Absolutely a firebrand youth icon there. And he executes, and it's a pleasure to work with him. And thank you for making me a part of your sustainability program in Pune. I will sure be there, and I request everyone to support online or offline. If you're in Pune, do join on the 22nd of April for the Sustainability Carnival Festival outdoors and in celebration of post-COVID life. So there you have Mr. Shivam. You can always connect with Climate Reality Project India, with Young Environmentalist Program Trust, and all our various supporters. Please tag and report and share in all the mediums possible so that together we move forward hand in hand in collaboration. That's the only way, networking, holding hands, moving forward together, that's farther we go. Yeah. So thank you so much, Shiva. And we have a few minutes left for the actual lights out. I would request everyone at the dot of 8:30 to switch off your lights, but stay put and have your torch or your candle or last resort candlelight, but your solar lantern or DR and in front of your face or the side of your face, and to celebrate and kickstart 8:30 Earth Hour, Climate Reality Project India and Young Environmentalist Program Trust. So hang in there. But we have 1 minute exactly, 60 seconds. This is a call out for Gauri Khanna. She would also like to, she made a special request to outline her project for Be Local, Go Local on the farmers. I know what it is to feel passionately. My grandparents were farmers, in fact, from Uttar Pradesh. And here I am today down the centuries, talking about it, but they actually walked the talk. And that's where I think the seeds were sown. And maybe the grandparents who were farmers inspire me today to know, more ecology, spiritual ecology, and be closer to them. This is a call out for Gauri Khanna, please. Are you there, Ms. Khanna? She's from Pune, incidentally.
I've just given Ms. Khanna.
Yes, she can speak now. Yes.
Thank you so much.
60 seconds. Over to you, please.
Hey, everyone. So I'm Gauri.
We cannot see you. Can you put your video on, please?
Ma'am, I don't have video controls right now.
We can't see you.
Ma'am, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Go ahead.
Ma'am, I don't have my video controls right now.
No problem.
Yes. So, hey everyone, I'm Gauri, so proud to be here. I'm joining in from Pune. I'm a student in class 9 of the Army Public School in my region. As a determined... Ma'am?
No. You can switch on your camera now, see?
Ms. Khanna, you can switch on your camera now and just go ahead. This is regarding your Be Local, Go Local. She's got a climate solution outline for cutting down carbon footprints, ecological footprints, and water footprints. Are you there?
Yeah, there she is.
All right, welcome.
Finally, hey everyone, I'm Gauri. I join in from Pune. I am a student of Army Public School in my region. I'll just be promoted to class 9. So as a determined young environmentalist, my mission statement is primarily getting my friends and their families to consciously move away from status affinity, not give in to the lure of imported stuff, eat seasonal produce and buy local. What basically is making our carbon footprints rise? It's mostly the emissions from our vehicles, planes, and cargo ships. So I say for starters, let's just pledge to go local, support the local farmers and weavers, or to summarize, be local, buy local. This Earth Day, I wholeheartedly endorse our Honorable Prime Minister and say vocal for local. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gauri. That was very insightful.
Thank you.
Yes, and do we have the countdown as yet, Aviva? Yes, start. Start.
Everyone can start switching their lights off. And if you could please hold up your solar powered sources.
Yes. Has everyone switched off their lights? At least the main lights? Here you go. So Aviva, can you do the countdown and request Urvi, Dev, Shivam, Swayam, Fauzia, Aditya, Bhavesh, and everyone, all the participants, please. This is the countdown. Okay, Aviva.
Let's start from, I would request everyone to join in. 10,
9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lights out, everyone.
Happy Earth Day, everybody. Earth Hour.
Happy Earth Hour, everyone.
And go beyond that hour, go beyond this hour, and brilliant speakers absolutely expounding on climate solutions. And keep your lights switched off. And over to Swayam. Swayam, he's been instrumental in directing this entire Earth Hour as well. And do we have any questions?
We don't have any questions, but Abha has raised her hand and we may like to invite her to speak.
Okay, so you may unmute her and invite her to speak.
Yes.
Everyone, lights off, please, and keep your solar or your candles or torch and everything on in celebration. The whole world has put it off right now, wherever they are, whatever time zone they are in, 8:30 to 9:30. So what a beautiful platform and what dynamic speakers taking this forward, in gratitude of all 4 of them. And thank you to all our participants. And please connect with our speakers and please support them and join Climate Reality Project India and Young Environmentalists. We are on Instagram and Facebook, and you can always connect. And over to Swayam, the speaker, the next speaker, you can unmute her.
Abha? We can't hear you.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes. We can't see your face though. You need to lower the...
Unfortunately,
yeah, this is fine.
Has also gone off.
This is fine.
This is fine. Yes, because there's quite a lot of moonlight. So in that way, and thank you so much, Climate Reality Project and young people. I think they are absolutely great. I think the way they presented was very good. And from my side, from UNDP and from Orissa, I think it is a reality which we need to accept and we really need to work. And Orissa, I'm sure you all know, we have a blue flag beach now. So we are trying to move forward in that. And we also have a lot of great plastic waste management program, but not in the, as of not linking to the oceans. And I think I take this back, this message, and I invite all the young people, and I will also try and see how we can connect to more young people here in the state and make them a part of your journey also, because we want a safer and a better planet for us. Thank you so much. And thank you for letting me have a word. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Abha. That was absolutely beautiful. And we would, of course, with all our young participants, love to collaborate and work in Orissa with you. That is fabulous. And Swayam, do we have any other hands up? Anyone else would like to speak?
No, I don't see anyone right now unless there is any more request.
How about we take this time to take a picture? How about that?
Yes, very good reminder. You're on spot. Excellent execution. Over to you, Aviva.
Sure. Miss Mishra, Gauri, if I could just request you to switch your camera on, please.
And Bhavesh?
So 1 second.
Sure.
And Paditya is there.
Yes, Paditya is also there.
Excellent. Earth picture with a torch or mobile lamp or...
Wonderful. I will again give the countdown. 3, 2.
Ozia, we can't see you.
There's something really wrong. I think It has completely gone dark. Huh? The background is the only lit up thing. Huh?
Yes. Bhavesh, Aditya, if you are here, please, can we also have your camera switched on, please?
Okay, should I go forward?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Happy Earth Hour, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Happy
And
Earth
can
Hour.
we have
Thank
Swayam,
you.
please give us the closing note, since you're already there and you know she's been part of this journey and it's been fantastic with all her support. Swayam, please.
Thank you. I'm totally elated and I'm very inspired by the young environmentalists that we have here and many more who are joining us. And I would just like to say that the environment journey is a non-stop, it's a continuous journey. This is just the beginning with you all. And we would love to hear from you. We would like to also have you come and talk to us and tell us what your aspirations are. What are you interested in to contribute to? And we as mentors from Climate Reality will strive and do our best to help you to the maximum possible. And I'm going to put in the email. Do you want to, Aviva, do you want to quickly put in that email that we have put?
Absolutely. It'll be in the chat box in just a second.
Yes, it's youth environmental environment 2022, I think, at gmail.com. So reach out to us.
I'll just clarify. It's environmentyouth2022 at gmail.com. I've also put it on the chat box for everyone to see.
Great. Thank you so much. So that's one email that you could reach out to us. And do you want to, Elsie, also provide your mobile number, or we just go with that?
Yes, we have info@youngenvironmentalistprogram.org. You can tap into that and join us as well. And of course, you have Elsie Gabriel as well at gmail.com, and you have my number. And you're most welcome to join us. And like Swayam and me are mentors for Climate Reality Project India. And we have been training people even during the COVID globally, during the webinars, online training as well. So we'll always be there for you, whichever part of the world you're in. And I can't be more grateful to all the attendees here today. You know, it takes a lot of courage to spend an entire hour supporting our 4 dynamic leaders here who are on a mission and who are taking so much energy, time, between their college time and school time and exams and their work to be out there outlining climate mitigation and solutions, and just not talking the talk, but walking the talk. That's what our mission plan for 2022 is, literally. So with that note, I'd like to bring this webinar to an end. And before that, this is a call out for a 4-year-old from Kashmir who is Future for Fridays. If you're here with your parents, you have exactly 60 seconds before it is 2030, 2040. Future for Fridays from Kashmir, 4-year-old parents requested me to have half a second. And I'm obliging you with this. If you've logged in and if you are there, please come forward.
You can raise your hand and I can unmute you and bring you to the panel, please.
All right. Okay.
Elsie, I don't see them here.
Yes. Okay. So I did oblige. And anyone else who'd like to speak, the last closing note will be given by Aviva. And anyone else who'd like to speak?
I have something to say. Like, my entire team is here. Nature Summit team is here with me. They want to say, entire team is here with me. Like, please join me. They're wearing this our t-shirt also, right?
Wow, fantastic.
Come here.
So you take off the backdrop, then you get to see everyone. You have to take off the backdrop. I can't see anyone but you. Take off the backdrop. So each of our 4 panelists have a team. They built a team over this 1-2 weeks that we've been preparing for this. Yeah, that's brilliant. Fabulous.
Awesome.
Hi, everyone. Oh my God, it's so wonderful to see you all again.
Orbital warriors, I'm trained by you.
Excellent, absolutely. Yeah.
Aviva,
So
one more picture with them.
Yes, we take one more picture with them. Aviva, over to you.
Yes, all right. I'll give a countdown. Would you mind if I spotlighted them?
Yes,
No,
okay, that's
please
okay.
go
And Aviva,
ahead.
if you have your team, and if Urvi has her team for the next picture, of course.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Aviva, do you have your team?
Not at the moment, the attendees.
All right, Urvi, any of your peer mates, classmates here?
I can't see.
Who have just joined, maybe take a picture. Shiva, would you like a picture with your classmates who just joined? With
I mean, they are there, but there are 100 plus of them. So, I mean, we won't be able to.
Okay, okay. So one last group picture, Aviva, so that we get all the people who just come in a little later after 8.
Just give me a second. All right, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aviva. So happy Earth Hour. Go beyond the hour and focus on walking the talk and also climate solution and mitigation. Whichever field you choose, whether you're a student or an adult or an organization, please connect with us and we're there to mentor you. There will be a climate reality project training, maybe live, which is happening in Las Vegas, and maybe you can encourage your friends to attend if they are in that western part of Los Angeles, and maybe on webinar next. But we'll always be there here in Climate Reality Project India, and of course, Young Environmentalist Program Trust Mumbai. Always reach out and we will be there for you. So goodbye and thank you. Have a very good evening. And Aviva, can you please read out the credential of all our supporters once again, please? And say good night.
Absolutely. All right. So again, I would like to thank Perfect Woman, Young Environmentalist Program Trust, Vellore Institute of Technology, Explore IT, Nature's Orbit, Energy, Terry School Advanced School of Studies, Symbiosis International, Bombay State Fisheries, the Force School of Management, Rail Bikash Manch, CSC, Recycle Foundation, and the Climate Reality Project India.
Thank you so much. This would not be possible without Climate Reality Project India hosting us for Earth Hour 2022. Good night. Have a great day. Great night. Great weekend. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bhavesh, if you're there, you can always please close down. If you're not, then